Good morning. Hello, how's everyone doing? Good morning. Thank you for coming. My name is Tom London. I'm a hacker and social engineer. And I'm going to kickstart this morning with a little bit of fun with technology, if that's all right. So before we get going, a little bit about me. When I was 15 years old, I hacked into my school's computer network and uncovered a security flaw, which allowed me to access every user's files. I used this to blackmail my way into the school network office, and I revealed this security flaw and revealed a student who'd been illegally downloading content. As a result, the school gave me permission to play video games when I shouldn't have been playing video games. And no one ever bullied me again. Everyone was scared of me. So that's my background. Today, what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about the future. So I've actually got something on the screen I'd like to show you here. We're going to come to this at the end. Yesterday, I was in Chicago performing at a math convention for the 600 smartest children in America, ages 10 to 15. It took them precisely 15 minutes to work out what this is. And we're going to get it up on the screen just now. And there it is. So you have 15 minutes to try and work out if you are smarter than a 10-year-old and to try and work out what this is. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about blockchain, but before I do that, I'd like to start by explaining something. Does anyone have any money that I can borrow? Some dirhams or some dollars? I love it. You've walked straight into your pocket and you're like, yes, I've got some cash. Bitcoin? I'll take Bitcoin if you've got a crypto hash on you. You've got a USB stick as well. Thank you very much. How much is that? 100, thank you. Okay, 100 dirham. All right. So here's the thing about cryptocurrency, which I think is fascinating. Now, you've just given me this 100 dirham. You and I are the only two people aware of this transaction, so I could take this and no one else would know that we've had this transaction. But what's really fascinating, if I just fold this up like this, you'll see it change from a sort of, I say like a red color, into a kind of greeny color, much like a 500 dirham. Crazy, right? So I'll give you a chance to win this. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. What do you think it is? Oh, it was 9. It was so close. So the fascinating thing about this is that only we are aware of what's just happened here, and obviously this was a little bit of magic. The great thing about blockchain is that it eliminates this, and I'm going to explain that a little bit later. Unfortunately, you didn't win the 500 dirhams, so I will change this back. And there we go. Someone who's English speaking, if you have a mobile phone. This gentleman here. Hi, you can stay seated. You can stay seated. You can take your phone with you. What's your name? Chris, take your phone. You can stay seated for me. Chris, here's what I want to do. We're going to do something interesting. I would like you to go onto the internet. And basically, I want to talk a little bit about neural networks and machine learning. So I want you to go onto the internet, if you can, and go onto Google. I want you to search for something. I want it to be a very random search. But in order for it to be random, I was going to say maybe search on Google. Google has trillions of pages indexed. The problem is it's quite ambiguous. If I ask you to search something, you get loads of results. To make it a little bit more specific, what I'd like you to do is open up Wikipedia. Actually, better, go onto Google. Let's make a point about this. Go onto Google. I want you to search how many articles are there on Wikipedia. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this while I write it. Okay, have you got it? How many articles are on Wikipedia? I clearly picked the wrong person. Just kidding, Chris. Just kidding. You're doing great. Oh, it's okay. The network. Do you want to go on 3G or something, or no? You're on 5G. Dubai. Wow. Okay, is it good? If anyone else has a phone that's got some 5G, open up Google. Are you good, Chris? 5,625,000. Oh, so there's a link at the top. What is it? WikiCount? Click on it. Let me see. Oh, great, cool, okay. You're in, okay, cool, sweet. So what we've got here is this is a website that tells you how many articles have been edited today on Wikipedia. So we've got an average of, there are 1,164 average words per article on Wikipedia, and there are a total of 5,620,622 articles that have been edited today on Wikipedia. That makes a total of 6,542,404,008 words that have been edited on Wikipedia today. Chris, here's what I want you to do. I want you to search on Wikipedia for anything you like. Now remember, Wikipedia is an encyclopedia, so I'd like to search for perhaps a sport, perhaps a musician, perhaps a film, something that means something to you. Go for it. Don't think about it too much. First thing that comes to your mind. And let me know once you've done that. Yep, you've got it. And once you've done that, I want you to scroll down on that page, and I want you to pick a word on the page that's longer than 6 or 7 letters. Don't say it, just think about it in your head. You got a word longer than 6 or 7 letters? Yep. Remember that word and lock your phone, Chris. Now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to explain a little bit about how a neural network works. But before I do that, I'm going to use my own neural network to try and work out what that long word was that you just looked at. So remember I said there's 1,164 words on average on a Wikipedia article. You could have picked any one of those 1,164 words. You've picked one at random. All I want you to do is think of the first letter in your head. Think of the first letter of that word in your head. Don't say it. Okay. Okay, cool. Just say the first letter out loud. So basically, Chris was wrong. I'm just kidding, Chris. Don't say it just yet. Just think of the second letter in your head. Don't say it. Okay, cool. I think that's about right. What was the second letter? That's exactly what I got. A-D. Think of the third letter in your head. Don't say it. Yeah, that's easy. Just say the third letter for me. That's exactly what I got. V. I tell you what. Why don't we just do the like this? And Chris, just nice and loud, can you just say the entire word for me, please?
Advantages.
That's exactly what I got. Thank you. So this is essentially how neural networks work. But instead of me doing it, what would be really interesting is if I could take that skill and teach it to a machine. Do you remember you searched for anything you wanted on the internet? Hey Siri, what word did Chris search for?
The word that you randomly searched for on Wikipedia is education.
Chris, what was the word? Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a massive round of applause, please, for Chris. Thank you. So neural networks, machine learning, it's all about taking a large amount of data and uploading it to the cloud. And once you have all of this data, you can use a machine learning algorithm, like the one I just made there, to teach the machine to understand this data. So I've done this thousands of times, and as a result, I statistically know what words people are most likely to look at on a Wikipedia page. And I know statistically, depending on the audience, what kind of thing people are going to search for as well. So that's just a little broad insight into that. Moving on, do you remember what I said at the start about cryptocurrency? I'm sure you guys have all heard blockchain being talked about a lot. So I wanted to create our own SAP Leonardo blockchain today in the room with all of you. Sound like fun? Everyone's like, oh no, math, it's too early for that. So here's what we're going to do. To do this, we're going to break it very, very, very easily and break it down. So basically, a blockchain, quite simply put, is a ledger of transactions. Really big, in fact, bigger than me. So there was no way of faking these stones, right? So everyone knew how many stones one particular tribal leader had, and as a result, if you were to trade these stones, they physically had to roll them from one town to the other. But today it's a little bit harder, like with when I changed that money. You know, it was magic. No one was aware of what just happened. It just changed from one currency to the other, from 100 to 500. But blockchain eliminates this, and I want to show you how. So here's what we're going to do. I would like everyone to take out their mobile phones and to open their calculator. Now I'm going to scratch all of the hardcore math, and we're going to keep this really, really simple. Has anyone worked out what this is yet? Anyone? No? No one worked this out? You have. Oh, yes, sir. What is it? It's a clock. Can we have a massive round of applause, please, for this gentleman who worked it out in 10 minutes? It is, in fact, a clock, yes. So we have green dots signifying the minutes of the hour, hours of the day, sorry, and blue dots signifying the minutes. I made this. This is basically what it's doing, is it's using something called crypto hash, which I'll talk about in a second. Each time it tells the time, it creates a completely random pattern. So right now it's telling the time using the number of dots. But each time it does this, it's entirely unique, entirely random. You will never see this clock the same for the next 100 million years. And this is built on blockchain technology. So yeah, massive round of applause to this gentleman who worked it out. That's fantastic. I'll see you in a bit for that. We can take this down now, if that's all right. Fantastic. Okay, so everyone's got their calculators. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to create our own blockchain. Before I do that, though, I have something here. Actually, no, we're not going to use that. Here's what we're going to do. So let's go with, hello, miss. How are you doing? Hi, you're right. Do you mind coming on stage for me? Is that okay? Yeah, can you help me out? Can we have a round of applause, please, for this lady as she comes on stage? Thank you very much. Do you want to come around the side and I'll help you out? Fantastic. Thank you so much. You good? Yep, wonderful. Okay, so you can put your phone away. That's fine. Okay, you can stand right here. So a calculator for you. You can put that in your pocket. That's not a problem. Here's what we're going to do. Just hold that for me, and I need you to follow these instructions very, very carefully. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to create some random numbers. So, hi, miss. I can see you're looking at me just here. Hello, how are you doing? What size feet do you have, miss? You're looking at me. Yep. What size feet do you have? 39. I would like everyone to type in 39 into their calculator. Just do 39, and then hit multiplied. Okay, 39 and multiplied. And I'm also going to make a little record of this, too. 39 multiplied. Wonderful. Hello, sir. How are you doing? What's your credit card PIN number? Don't, whoa. What size feet do you have? 45. Okay, type 45 and then multiplied. Everyone do the same. You should all have 1,755. Is that right? Wonderful. And, hi, miss. How are you doing? How many gigabytes of storage do you have on your phone? 64, base 64. Okay, just do 64 and then hit plus. So you should all have 112,320, yes? Everyone got that? Times 64. Okay, to make it fun, we're going to now generate a random string, a random number, not a string, a random integer. I'd like to put your thumbs over the numbers. I'll take your phone, it's fine. Close your eyes, and I want you to hit 6 numbers randomly. Don't look. Go for it. Okay, what did you hear? Okay, everyone, you need to add to that number 697,937. Don't hit enter just yet. Can we all do that? While we're at that, I'm going to get the drone in the air. If we can take that off. Don't hit equals just yet. So what was that number? Sorry, can you read it out to me one more time? 697,937. Fantastic. Can everyone hit equals? We should all have. What's the number we have? 810. 257. Yes? We're happy that's a random number. Yes? There's no way I could have known what that was going to be. Now, before we calculated this, I put the drone up in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a look, I now rotate the drone. You should find the number that I predicted at the very beginning of this show was, in fact, 810257. Thank you. And we'll just take that over to there and land that with my mind. Let's go. Wonderful brainwaves. It's coming on Amazon soon. You can get this too, little chip. Thank you so much. Please take your seat. Thank you. There's your phone. Thank you. Can we have a massive round of applause, please, as she takes her seat? 810,257. This is effectively how blockchain works. See, what we did is we had loads of people authenticating the transaction of a calculation we made. So everyone in the room was following along with what was happening, and that's all a blockchain is. Every time you want to affect the list of transactions that you've had, whether it be in a supply chain or whether it be in a transaction of a sale, everyone involved in that transaction, everyone who's doing similar transactions, also has to confirm that transaction was made. And thus, we come to this random number. Do you know what's really cool as well? The really cool thing about blockchain is that it's also encrypted. So there's no way of faking any transaction. Which we think theoretically will take 80 billion years for us to be able to crack. Just for fun of it, I also wrote down the SHA-256 string of 810257, just for fun, for all the nerds in the room, just to prove that I knew exactly what it was going to be. So yeah, thank you. So I think it was fair to say that there was no way that I could have known what that number was, right? 3 random variables, 1 random number. But does anyone recognize the number? I want you all to remember today, because today is about innovation. It's about creating new technologies with existing technologies and looking to the future. And that's why if you read the number backwards, you'll actually find it's today's date, the 7th of the 5th, 2018. Thank you. So, today's event is particularly special because it's the first time we're bringing a summit of this kind to the UAE. As an advocate of digital transformation, SAP realizes the need to help businesses stay on track with solutions that can help them drive growth, build a competitive edge, and deliver a digital future. To support this transformation journey and to give you the best possible tools, SAP and its partners have put together an action-packed agenda. We will kickstart this morning with an inspiring and game-changing keynote, followed by 8 different breakout sessions per lines of business. This is where we part ways and go on to more in-depth sessions. I strongly advise you to take a look at the section right behind you, the show floor, where you will find all sorts of cool stuff and demos. Take a sneak peek today at what the future will look like. You will see that SAP has brought together a terrific mix of subject matter experts and thought leaders to give you insights on different aspects of digital transformation. So, without any further ado, let's get started. May I please welcome to the stage Samir Arif, Chief Operating Officer, SAP Middle East South, to set the tone for the day. Let's have a round of applause, please, for him.
I've been thinking about thinking. I mean, think of all the things that think these days. Thinking planes. Thinking cars. Thinking phones. Businesses are thinking. Factories are thinking. Distribution plants are thinking. Plant plants are thinking. Hospitals are thinking. Unplug. Bad idea. Even your toaster is thinking.
Honey, Clive Owen's in our kitchen.
I'm leaving.
Oh, never mind, he's leaving.
There's so much thinking. Even this thing is thinking. Is this thing thinking? This thing is thinking. Thinking. Sorry, was just thinking. The thing is, all this thinking has created a new kind of problem. Businesses are up to their necks in knowledge. Let me illustrate that for you. Scratch that. Terrible idea. There's so much thinking, yet we don't know what to do with all the things we know.
You should not be in here.
See, I knew that. Thank you. But what if a business could turn all that thinking, endless thinking into doing? To make better decisions. Make a difference. Make the future. Make all this make sense. Not tomorrow, not next week while you think about it a little more, but right now, this moment, this second. Is there a company that can help you do all that? I can think of one.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Dubai and welcome to SAP's Leonardo Innovation Summit here today in the city. For me, a pretty exciting time. I moved to the city in 2009, and at that time, running one of our first events, we had no more than 15 to 20 people. So an extraordinary welcome and a thank you to all of you that have made this experience over the last few years for us at SAP a truly inspiring one. And most of what you will see today is taking on a very big step of moving to the next frontier. I'm no Tom London. I have no tricks up my sleeves. But what I do have is an exciting agenda that hopefully all of you will find something to take home back with you. I think I don't need an introduction. I'm currently the Chief Operating Officer for what we call Middle East South here in Dubai. And as a regional headquarters, this city is a proud location where we've done some pretty amazing things. I'd like to welcome Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. For those of you from the UAE and some of us from Saudi Arabia as well as from Oman, thank you for making the trip. I'm sure and I'm certain that the travel will be something worth your time. So, what is SAP Leonardo? We'll get into that later. We have quite a few stories to tell, some innovative customer stories to bring to mind as well. But it's really about how we are inspiring ourselves. And from that end, I wanted to just bring a movie that I watched with my young kids the other day. Just by a show of hands, anybody watch Back to the Future 2? Okay, so most of you growing up in the 80s, much like me, found this an iconic movie. It was everything about what we could imagine. It was everything that would bring our passions alive, and most importantly, it gave us the art of the possible to think of what life in the future would be. Well, 30 years on, thinking about many of those things in the movie, just thinking about the drone that we just saw, shoes that would lace themselves, clothes that were smart enough to talk to other gadgets, I think we have reached a point where most of those innovations in that movie are now being surpassed. And talking to a number of our customers, like yourselves, in the last couple of months, and if not the last year, the exciting challenge upon us is to think of how we take innovation and the buzzword that we talk about quite often to digitally transform ourselves into a meaningful way that will have an impact for not only us as individuals, as employees, as corporate titans, and as entities who seek to differentiate in the marketplace, but more importantly, to look at how we can actually meet the needs of our citizens, of our customers, of our talent within our companies, and to have real visibility. For us, the point is how we become an intelligent enterprise. We've seen how we marry a great number of concepts. We are looking to see how the world connects billions and billions of machines, physical objects, and trying to find the essence of what all of this how we can make a more fruitful impact in order to achieve the purpose that we seek for our citizens around us, and most importantly, make the world run better. For us, SAP, that defines the purpose of why we are here today, what we spend our time and effort on, and not purely look at just industrial use cases, but rather how the implications of all of this innovation can make a difference to people like you and me, and most importantly, for generations. So, those who would like questions about SAP Leonardo, it's not that complicated. Read the name for the digital innovation system after the name himself, Mohammed Misri. He had one of the biggest working overseas. Not only that, he had many skills. He made masterpieces, of course, he did some of those that still come today, but also designed helicopters. He looked at improving the way people could live, and most importantly, he had the imagination to spark an interest and sculpt a truly amazing piece of art as well. For us, that is the same drive and purpose we would like our innovation system to foster, to inspire and to drive many of you in the organizations that we serve to think of how we could make the lives of our employees and our customers and those that we serve better. So, in an attempt to connect economies, connect societies, and connect people, we've seen a huge number of things going on in this city that we live in. We've seen a massive stride with autonomous vehicles. We've looked at how we can 3D print our food. In fact, I was in San Francisco a while ago, and we were looking at eating the first digitally manufactured burger. We looked at how we can basically bring gifts home by designing, defining, and printing out gifts real time for our children and those that we love. We've looked at how robots and drones, for the purposes of good, can bring real-time medical services to those in need. In the continent that I come from, in Africa, we've looked at how we can use this technology in the golden hour of need, where there is no infrastructure, but countries, people, and societies can bridge a digital divide and use technology to bring services to those who need it most. Now, another part of the conversation as we embark on this fourth industrial revolution is about what the impact is for you and me. And surprisingly enough, if you read every stat and everything coming out of places like the World Economic Forum or many think tanks around the world, there is going to be a net effect. If I think of where we are going as society and the big questions we are asked from a morality perspective, from an ethics perspective, from a profit perspective, these are the combinations of what could truly make a difference as we embark on this journey, not only to make ourselves relevant, but more importantly, make our entities that we serve survive and thrive. So, you're going to hear a lot about many of the buzzwords. I don't intend to talk about any of them right now, but essentially, having this intelligent enterprise is all about how we can build a foundation and a system of innovation that will link all the cool things you've already heard about, whether it's the Internet of Things, whether it's blockchain, looking at machine learning, and more importantly, artificial intelligence, and how we will build a framework and a method to bring all of this together to generate value for those we serve. So, understanding where we are going to is an important facet of this journey. Understanding what the end customer as well as what the end citizen require in this future-proofed world is the imperative through which we need to look at how we will utilize and harness the power of all of these intelligent systems as we go along. And, you know, looking at where we are today, understanding the environment we're in, I thought it prudent to share a few awards that we are pretty proud of with a couple of our partners and customers. We live in a country where we have Vision 2021. We live in a city that is at the forefront of what I was just told about, has a DNA where delivery is the epicenter of everything that drives both the participants, the residents, as well as the population at large in order to make a difference to the world around us. We think of the complexity of what the government of the UAE and the city of Dubai in particular is embarking on. We can understand and grasp the opportunity for all of us in terms of how we can actually both follow and be part of something truly amazing. So we see a number of initiatives run by smart Dubai government organizations. We look at a number of the things Expo 2020 Dubai is currently thinking about, executing on, and will deliver what will probably be the most phenomenal experience for 25 million guests in 2020. But it all starts somewhere. And for us, it's about finding that spark. And I hope that the remainder of the day is something that will give you a flavor of how to ignite a real rallying cry in your organizations and to find some sort of path that will take you to the next level of operation beyond what is currently out there today. So the first story I'd like to tell is with a partner called EOH. EOH International is at the forefront of using our SAP Leonardo system of innovation. And they created something really smart and clever. They looked at the waste management industry and built a solution whereby they could optimally move the right truck at the right time to pick up the right trash at the right volume. And looking at this process, it's pretty conventional. It is something that runs through the street of every city in every part of the world. But most importantly, it's been one that's been a linear process where people have followed a conventional path of going from street A to street B to street C, irrespective of what has been going on around and irrespective of the nature of what needs to be picked up and what doesn't. So part of what they did was to look at utilizing a capability that would put RFID tags not only in the trash collection trucks, but also in the trash collection bins. And this radically gave an opportunity to all of their customers to not only reduce cost, but to minimize their footprint from a carbon perspective, and also be more efficient with the resources that they had to ultimately provide services that were needed at the time it needed most. If we look at the real-time capabilities that they've built, it's been an amazing experience of looking how they can make impact in the society and the communities they serve as well. From a blockchain perspective, we've all heard about the UAE government officially launching its Emirates blockchain strategy, where we're looking to take all government services, or almost all government services, off paper into a trusted, decentralized capability that will regulate complexity and how we interact both as citizens, as expatriates, and as businesses operating in this environment. If we look at the blockchain projects currently underway, we've been a proud partner to work with Wassel Asset Management. For me, as a tenant of Wassel, I can attest to the cool things that they are doing and how they are improving the opportunity to make communities livable. And part of this process was to look at an end-of-lease process. Now, most of us who live in the communities over here generally have a shorter shelf life in terms of how much time we spend in a particular unit, in a particular part of the city, and in a particular area. And the number of people involved in this process is pretty complex and cumbersome. We have the actual project and property manager. We have contractors who come in. We have a facilitation of a relationship between switching on and off services. And we have a number of banks involved in the process as you settle all of the outstanding dues. So with this in mind, Wassel came up with the idea to come up with a process that would be enabled by the blockchain in order to build trust through a seamless way of interacting with all of these intermediaries, but providing a single source of truth that would minimize the need for paper and minimize the need to fact-check and double-check a whole host of things through the process. Both of these companies, EOH as a partner as well as Wassel, have been recognized by our SAP Global Innovation Program, as well as receiving awards on a number of stages, which truly puts Dubai at the very center of what is being done, and the region in general, not only adopting best practices from other parts of the world, but actually providing next practices which are game changers that others are adopting. So from an EOH perspective, they won an award called the Next Generation Innovator for the Middle East, Europe, and Africa. And I'd like to briefly call on stage executives from EOH International. I know we have Tolga and Tamer with us today. Not sure if they've got in from the traffic. But please, if you could come on stage and receive an award from us, thanking you for the amazing work you're doing in this city and beyond. The proudest moment, especially in our local office, was the excitement and just a sense of achievement for a lot of our teams on the ground who are working with Wassel, who's also a finalist. That's the Next Gen Innovator category. And I'd like to invite our Wassel executives to come up on stage to accept an award. So, from our perspective, our investment plan in the UAE is right on track. We had a 5-year, $200 million investment plan. This is going along as it should. In fact, in terms of what we are doing, what we are seeing, and how we are collaborating with our customers, we've probably exceeded most of our internal expectations. And Dubai as a city has also become the regional headquarters for SAP across a wider region. This gives us a further opportunity to collaborate with our partners and our customers and lower the center of gravity of a true multinational but being relevant in our market today. And that gives us exciting possibilities of where we're going, what we will achieve, and how we will collaborate with many of you. We've also launched one of our co-innovation centers, one of 15 globally, based here in Dubai. We have a number of our colleagues who have come from our product and innovation space, working in our offices locally in the city to ensure that we bring the products that we create, the innovations that we develop, and the opportunity to influence the roadmaps that are being rolled out globally with a Dubai touch and flavor. And this is truly a game changer for us in the region, and we truly believe it will make a big difference in terms of how we bring SAP into the market rather than just adopting SAP from a global perspective. We're also excited to build a customer experience center. We've invested in a great deal of capabilities to think of how we can explore the art of the possible. As we look at this intelligent and innovative system of change, how can we create use cases that will actually make the difference and thereby take them through a process to rapidly innovate and co-create with you? But I could not move along and conclude what I have to say without an important announcement for us here today. In our goal to truly become the single and #1 cloud company across the globe, we're proud to make an announcement that our intelligent ERP, called S/4HANA Public Cloud, will be generally available here in the UAE. Now, that is an immense opportunity for a lot of our customers and our partners to bring our latest capability and build the foundation of a digital core that many of you will use in order to make the better decisions, in order to make the right decisions, and most importantly, to bring all your factors of production together at a lower cost of ownership, most importantly through a beautiful customer interface, and almost all the time can now be spent on focusing on innovation rather than thinking about a clunky ERP system. So if you could spend some time with us, we have a special dedicated track to look at the S4 Public Cloud offering, what it has, what the capabilities are, and how you can start that journey for yourselves and turning a whole host of CapEx into more material OpEx. Now, without stealing too much thunder, I'd also like to talk about innovations that we are doing with some of our speakers as well. We have the proud honor to host Expo 2020, who are at the forefront of making a customer experience something that will be redefined for many others to adopt. They are a proud user of what we have from an S4 perspective, managing factors of production to the lead up of what will be an amazing experience. But more importantly, they are looking at how they will redefine a process, an experience, and leave a lasting legacy in the city of Dubai and the UAE in general that will be remembered in an everlasting fashion. So I do hope that you will find inspiration from what will be an exciting topic to get a bird's eye view as to what's going on not too far away from here. So thank you very much for your time. I think we have a great audience. I'm glad to see many of you have made it. I know that we've had a few issues with the parking, but I'm glad to see that all of you have found a spot and a space. My final message is take the time to think, take the time to look at how we can execute, and take the time to really understand what innovation is and what you will take out of this experience into the future. If there is an opportunity to showcase something that will also come along, is that we have our flagship event in the USA called SAP Sapphire. This is happening on the 5th to the 7th of June. We welcome all of you. We will have every product roadmap out there, every technology and every innovation, and a suite of global customers who will be talking about what they are doing on the SAP Leonardo platform, how they are revolutionizing things from their supply chain to their customer experience. And it would be a wonderful opportunity to both have you, to spend time with you, and to understand how you will be redefining your future. You will find feedback forms in the book on your chair. If you fill in that feedback form via writing on the form that is there or using the app that we have through the barcode on the sheet, one lucky participant will have the opportunity to attend SAP Sapphire complimentary from us as a management team locally. So thank you very much for your time. I look forward to speaking to many of you after the day is up and into the future. And I will hand over to Timo. Thank you.
Our next speaker claims that tomorrow is already here. What's that all about? Well, let's all welcome to the stage Global Innovation Expert for SAP, Timo Elliott. Massive round of applause, please.
Thank you. And good morning, everyone. Let's start by taking a look at the future. This is the Tesla Autopilot in action, and it's a great analogy for the future of digital business. Tesla is no longer just a car company. They're busy turning themselves into a massively parallel learning machine, a global traffic brain. Each car, as it drives along the street, is using sensors, the Internet of Things, to gather vast amounts of big data, and then it's using algorithms and analytics to turn that data into a superior driving experience. But what's key is that each car is sharing that data with headquarters, and then it's shared with every other car on the road. So my car is benefiting from the constantly updated global knowledge of the system as a whole. So my car understands this street or this potential for an accident, even if it's never seen it before. Now, this means that the Tesla driving experience is automatically getting better over time and as people use their products, thanks to machine learning. So how about you? Hands up if your products, services, or internal processes are automatically getting better over time as people use them. Everybody's tired. Hands up if you're not going to put your hand up no matter what I say. Now, to most people, that sounds like science fiction. But tomorrow is already here. Here, for example, is a project that we did with a global chemicals company to introduce machine learning into their finance function, specifically something called invoice matching. Now, when they first implemented their business applications many years ago, only 40% of their invoices were able to be automatically matched with the corresponding bank payment information. So most of the time, there'd be different reference numbers, or they'd get 2 payments for one invoice, or 2 invoices for one payment. So 60% of the time, it had to be handled manually. Over several years, they put in place rules and managed to get that up to 70% automatic matching. But now, after just 2 weeks of implementing machine learning, they were able to get it up to 94% automatic matching. And it's still improving. Every time there's a problem, every time there's an exception, a human being deals with it, but then the algorithm can do a better job of learning from that situation next time. So this is an example of an internal process that is now automatically getting better over time as they use the system. And this is just one example. We believe that there are hundreds or thousands of these across almost every aspect of your organization. Take human resources, for example. One of the biggest barriers to digital transformation is resistance to change. So how about we use machine learning to get information about somebody's interests, their job profile, all of the training they've done before, and use that to offer them the perfect training to take them to the next step of innovation. So we use this machine learning. People like you really enjoyed this kind of training, or based on the training courses that you enjoyed in the past, here's what we think you should do next. Again, just one of many opportunities we have across the organization. Digital business is all about intelligently connecting people, things, and businesses. And of course, at these conferences, we tend to focus a lot on the technology. The technology is incredibly important, but it's more important to start with what you really need to work on, which is the customer experience. Here's a great example. This is from ASICS, the Japanese headquartered sportswear company. And over the last few years, they've been rethinking their strategy from the customer's point of view. Why? Well, because they know that the future isn't about selling shoes. That's becoming a commodity. So it's about taking a step back and thinking about why people buy the shoes in the first place. What can ASICS do to optimize their customers' end-to-end enjoyment of the sport of running? Well, the first thing they did was invest in personalization. So I can go into an ASICS store, I can get a 3D scan of my feet, and I can get my running style analyzed on a treadmill. And that information is used to make personalized recommendations for me to optimize my running performance and help me avoid injury. They also invested in the #1 running application, Runkeeper. So this helps their customers stay motivated. I can set and exceed goals, and they've just introduced coaching. So I know exactly what steps I need to take to run faster and further. And they've also introduced community. Last year, I took part in the world's largest 5K running race. 500,000 different participants around the world. And now it's a virtual race. The running is real, but you can do it anywhere you like, when you like, anytime you like, over a particular weekend. But still enjoy competing with your friends and family and colleagues. It was actually a lot of fun. Now, all of the data from these different systems, from the stores, from the app, from the website, all of that gets put into SAP Hybris platform to get a single view of the customer, and then that's used to personalize and optimize the customer experience, whether I go through the website or through the stores. So that's great news for customers, but it's also fantastic news for ASICS. They now have incredibly detailed view of how customers are actually using their products for the first time, and they've seen massive increases in their marketing efficiency. So there are amazing opportunities for all of this great new technology. But as I talk to customers, many of them are drowning in the number of different opportunities. Only 3% of organizations say they're actually succeeding with digital transformation today. And of course, we would like to help. For the last 40 years, we've been helping organizations like yourselves run better. And we can do that better than ever before, thanks to our suite of integrated modular cloud applications like S/4HANA, SuccessFactors, Ariba, Concur, and Fieldglass. Now, we've taken these applications and we've used the latest technologies like cloud and in-memory to make them better than ever before. We can help you simplify your existing architectures and take real advantage of the power of real-time business. But we've been talking to our customers for several years, and now they've been working on real business change, moving from products to services and new business models. And we realized that we had an opportunity to support our customers better. And that's why we launched SAP Leonardo. It's a digital innovation system designed to help you innovate at scale and confidently redefine your business. Now, it's important to understand it's not really a product or a platform. Above all, SAP Leonardo is a big strategic change in how we support you with digital transformation. We call it a system because it's a system for us to work with you, not just to give you technology, but to help you to actually pragmatically succeed in implementing that technology and change something in the way you do business. Why is it called SAP Leonardo? Well, because, of course, Leonardo was an amazing scientist, technologist, and inventor, but he also understood the importance of creativity and the human experience. So SAP Leonardo brings together technology with human experience and creativity to actually help you succeed. We like to think that at the start of this new digital renaissance, Leonardo will be delighted to have a product named after him. So this is before SAP Leonardo, after SAP Leonardo. It's an amazing technology called Photoshop. So what is SAP Leonardo? Well, it's three things. It's an agile methodology. It's a set of tools, some fantastic new technology, and it's a set of predefined industry accelerators. And the bottom line is that we work with you to help you innovate faster with less risk. Let's look at each of those in turn. So first, the methodology. This is the creativity part. The SAP Leonardo starts off with design thinking workshops, where we sit down with you and help you rethink your products, rethink your customer opportunities, look at the end-to-end customer journey, and figure out how you can use these new technologies to make it even better. We help you with rapid prototyping. We work with you on the business case for innovation, and we help you with a technical roadmap that gives you every step of the way from your existing architectures through to your platforms of the future. And then, of course, there are the technologies themselves. All of these are based on the SAP Cloud Platform. We believe that the cloud is the best place for agile innovation that you can quickly scale to the size of your organization. And you can run that on the SAP data centers, but also on the Google platform, Amazon, and Microsoft. So it's a true multi-cloud enterprise architecture. Let's look at the different technologies available with some customer examples. Stara, for example, used our Internet of Things platform to move from selling machinery, tractors, to selling an integrated digital farming system. Each tractor, for example, has sensors that can detect the exact amount of fertilizer that each individual plant needs. The result is you use less fertilizer. That makes it more profitable for the farmers. That's good news for them. It's good news for Stara, but it's also good news for the planet as a whole because it makes farming more sustainable. It's a great example of how we can use these technologies not only to improve business, but also to make the world a better place. Big data. This is Centerpoint Energy in the US. They used to check electricity meters once every 6 months. Now they do it every 15 minutes. They're generating petabytes of data that they've stored in big Hadoop clusters. They were struggling to combine that information with their enterprise sources, so they turned to the SAP Big Data platform. And we have some fantastic new technologies, such as SAP Data Hub. Now, this is a new data pipelining technology that allows you to effectively manage your enterprise data and your big data and your streaming data in a governed, secure way. So you don't have to bring all the data together in one physical place in order to get a single coordinated view of everything that's going across the organization. Machine learning is an amazing opportunity that will touch every aspect of what we do. Here's an example from sales and marketing. This is SAP Customer Retention Insights. So here we're going to use the raft of data that we have about our customer interactions in banking or telco, for example, and we're going to use that to predict far in advance what is the risk of a customer churning or not. So we have this, what we call the customer pulse, that gives us a key indication of whether a customer is going to churn in the near future. And then the algorithms can actually help us figure out what action we should take to retain that customer. Should we give them a discount, a special offer? What other product might they be interested in? And again, it's based on machine learning. So it's getting better and better over time, the more data you give it. Another example, this is a brand new product, something just previously wasn't possible before, combining machine learning with image recognition to automatically detect the appearance of logos in sports footage. The customers of this product would be the sponsors of sporting events who can use it to track whether they're getting a return on their investment. And this replaces students with stopwatches. It just wasn't possible to get this level of analysis in the past. This is Swarovski, the crystals company. We first worked with them a few years ago to digitize their product catalog. So we took 45 kilos of paper catalogs and helped move that to an iPad. So as I go into a Swarovski store, the sales assistants can help me find the right product quickly and easily. But we're taking it to the next level so that you can take a picture of the product you want, a crystal rooster, for example, upload that to the platform. It sorts through the more than 200,000 different product references and it finds exactly the product you need. We've actually had some fantastic other examples of image recognition, from everything from palm oil to drums of oil. Lots of new opportunities through machine learning. Blockchain, there's a lot of hype about blockchain, but it's an amazing opportunity. We've done some great projects in pharmaceutical track and trace, in bank transfers. This one is e-government. It's with in Italy. You go to a bank office, you get your official document scanned, that information gets encrypted, added to the blockchain, and now it's trusted. You never have to show that document ever again, making your interactions with the Italian government more efficient. Analytics is more important than ever before. This is Northern Gas Networks. We started working with them a couple of years ago, and they were interested in better data visualization. But working with them, they realized that they needed to take a step back and have a real end-to-end, more strategic approach to information. They invested in our SAP Analytics Cloud solutions and SAP Digital Boardroom. And so you can see here, they literally have all the information they need to run their business in real time at their fingertips. It's absolutely something that every organization will be implementing in the near future. And we're combining this with new technologies that allow you to talk. So you can just ask the analytics system, tell me the sales revenue for this quarter, or how are my expenses compared to budget, making it really easy to get information to the people who need it. Data intelligence, we have a fantastic new platform called Live Insights that allows you to monetize information more directly than ever before. So it allows you to aggregate, augment, and anonymize your data so you can actually sell it directly to new customers in new ways. And we have a platform that handles all of that for you in a secure and governed way. And so how do you actually buy SAP Leonardo? Well, the easiest way is through these industry accelerators where they're predefined high opportunity innovation areas. So we work with our customers to identify exactly where these new technologies can make the biggest difference. We put them together in packages. These are sort of recipes, if you like, the technology ingredients and everything you need to make them successful. And then, of course, we work with you to customize them to your environments. And they're designed to be consumable, so priced so that you can implement these without taking a huge risk, and you can get to a prototype in as little as 3 weeks and production in as little as 3 months. But of course, if one of these accelerators isn't appropriate, we can also work with you on more open innovation. This is Vestas. They're the world leader in wind turbines. We worked with them to find high value innovation opportunities, and it turned out that they had a very manual process for moving cranes from one of their more than 300 sites to the next site. So we helped to get them to put together a design thinking team consisting of IT people, business people, but even people on the ground, the crane operators themselves. They did a lot of research, looked at the different needs, came to one of our SAP Leonardo design centers to start co-innovating prototyping an application. They worked with the final users to come up with the production application. So it took just 3 weeks to get a prototype, 3 months to go into production, and they're looking to save over 8 million euros this year. A fantastic example of just fast, agile innovation using their existing data and existing infrastructures. So what is Leonardo? Again, it's the methodology, design thinking, it's the technology, it's the industry accelerators, and we work closely with you. Think of us as the pit crew. You're driving the racing car, it's your innovation, but we can help you do it faster with less risk. So overall, we'd like to help you with 2 things. The first is we'd like to help you optimize your business. With our fantastic new platforms like S/4HANA, we can help you run better like never before using powerful in-memory technologies. But we'd also like to help you transform your business, help you take a step back, use these new technologies to really rethink every aspect of what you do to find new opportunities. And I have to say, I've been doing this for a long time, there has never been a better time to use these technologies. So today, hopefully, you're going to see lots and lots of examples of what you can do. Please take the time to visit all of those great booths out in the back. But above all, make sure you spend the time to try and talk to the other attendees here. I guarantee that there are other people here that, like you, are struggling with innovation. I guarantee that by talking to other people, you will be one step closer to your innovation future. And at the end of the day, it's not just about improving the way we do business. Together, we can all use these technologies to actually make the world a better place. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Timo, for this inspiring talk about the future and how the latest technologies will transform the way the world works. Our next speaker is Iman Al-Amrani, VP Applied Intelligence at Expo 2020, our strategic partners whom we would like to thank for their presence and contribution. Expo 2020 will showcase and explore what is possible when new ideas and people connect. Let's all welcome Iman to the stage. A massive round of applause, please. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I guess now you can hear me. Good morning, everyone. I can still see some people using their mobile phones. For those using your mobile phones, eyes up. Digital is no longer the centerpiece of experience. My name is Iman Al-Amrani, Vice President Applied Intelligence at Expo 2020 Dubai. We start with Disney's WALL-E, unlike Back to the Future.
No, just packing this away for safety, you know.
That wasn't part of the plan. Well, for the parents around the room, I'm sure you're familiar with this fictitious garbage collecting character who saves the day, if not mankind. For those of you who aren't familiar, here's a short synopsis. In a distant but not so unrealistic future, where mankind has abandoned Earth because it has become covered with trash, WALL-E, a garbage collecting bot, has been left behind to collect the mess. The people of Earth ride around a space resort on hovering chairs, which gives them a constant feed of TV and video chatting. They drink all of their meals through a straw. They're huge with tiny little hands and feet. They're helpless. They look like babies. They have never met each other physically. No wonder they had robots to save the day. Now, this is one extreme down the technology route. However, through technology today, we connect, we listen, we learn, we simplify, we optimize, we revolutionize, and of course, we break through barriers. How do we intelligently select and apply technologies, disruptive as they may seem, yet transparent to the naked eye, to innovate a better tomorrow? Eyes up, digital is no longer the centerpiece of experience. Digital has had the limelight long enough, and the time has come to blend digital with the physical. Now let's see where we are today at Expo 2020 with the physical. Let's innovate human ingenuity. Let's design how best to use technology as an invisible enabler of physical and sensory experiences. Let's create services that are deeply integrated within our physical world, a connected experience, not a singular, periodic, or an interrupted engagement between man and machine, be it the friendly mobile app or the iPad. For the past few years, how we design services has been dictated and limited by the touch points that were available to us. Much emphasis was placed on creating experiences through the digital screens, and as a result, people spent more time interacting with devices than people themselves. This is where we all play a role in this change. This is where my role specifically at Expo 2020 Dubai is. Innovating the visitor experience, innovating human ingenuity. We want to provide our visitors a future-proof experience. Technology is evolving so fast. Data is growing with a nanosecond. And what is considered mainstream today may be completely obsolete by 2020. Here's another fact for you. This year marks the 10th year of the mobile app ecosystem. And although 2021 projections indicate a stunning jump in mobile app downloads, say about 300 billion, well, recent studies also reveal that people stick to using only a handful of apps, and they regularly download the ones that they don't use. Each visitor is unique in every sense of the word. We want to provide a personalized experience that suits this individuality. 25 million visits equals 25 million experiences, 25 million posts, 25 million memories, if not more. Computers have been able to read, comprehend, and react to words for some time now. Now, they can do the same thing with images. With the exponential progress in artificial intelligence and cameras everywhere, we are tapping into a powerful new source of data to recreate personalization. Thanks to machine learning, cameras everywhere, cameras are now sharper, smarter, and emotionally intelligent. Data is our biggest ally, and technology is our tool. To know more, to prepare better, to personalize. Which brings us to our next guiding principle. We want our visitor to have a smooth sailing experience. Terminal 3 at Dubai airports is the best example that I can think of. It's smooth sailing from the time you get off the plane right up to the time that you get into the car in 20 minutes or less. In comparison, where else can you get such an experience? This is what I call technology that is frictionless. It's invisible because we don't see the technology doing all the work for us while we pick up our luggage. So how do we go about giving millions of visitors a seamless experience? We rethink what people actually want. We put ourselves in their shoes, expect the unexpected in their journeys, and design with that in mind. We want to give our visitors a memorable experience. We strive to have every visitor leave at least with one memorable experience, a story that's waiting to be told. I remember Dubai because of what I experienced at Expo 2020. There is a legacy of inventions and innovations at previous expos. We have to live up to that expectation. The Eiffel Tower, the X-ray machine, the typewriter, the ice cream cone, or even ketchup for that matter, are just random examples of what was showcased and launched at an expo. What will Dubai launch? And the pressure is on every single day to make Expo 2020 the most technology advanced ever. And this is where you all come in.
When we come together, extraordinary things happen. From nowhere, we find ideas. From nothing, we build the unthinkable. Working with technology for the good of humanity. Powering a greener future together. And creating a better world for all of us. So come and be a part of what we do next. Because this is where next begins. Expo 2020 Dubai. Connecting minds, creating the future.
Innovating together can produce something unique and specific to Expo 2020 Dubai, because we foster a collaborative atmosphere from the smallest SME through our Expo Live program, right up to the world's largest enterprises. As I said earlier, we will design how best to use technology as an invisible enabler of physical and sensory experiences. Immersive experiences are changing how we connect with people, how we absorb information, and how we experience things. Hence, an eyes-up experience. We want the Expo 2020 Dubai experience to be felt, touched, and lived, not seen through a lens, not swiped right on a mobile phone, and not double-ticked for likes. We want people interacting with each other and their environment, and not their devices. The Expo 2020 spirit will resonate with what people will see, what they will feel, and what they will never forget. I'll go back to my Wall-E story. Let's not be hovering over in our chairs with our lives orchestrated or even intermediated by technology in the name of innovation. We want to experience life at its best, intelligently applying technologies to amplify that experience. Our promise is to innovate human ingenuity with the invisible thread which we so call technology that weaves everything together into place, bringing the Expo 2020 experience to life. This is a dream we will all realize together with our partners, with yourselves, and with the wider world. It has been a pleasure to speak with you today. We have come a long way, and we need to go much further, and I look forward to your company, each one of you, every step of the way. I end my speech with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum's saying, "The future belongs to those who can imagine it, design it, and execute it." With my eyes up and focused, I can say it's an absolute honor to serve this calling, and it is precisely what Expo 2020 and Dubai will do. Thank you very much.
There we go. A massive thank you to Iman Al-Amrani from Expo 2020 for the insightful presentation. And before we move on to our next speaker, I'd like to encourage all of you to get your phones out really quickly, open up Twitter, and start tweeting using SAP Innovation, hashtag SAP Innovation, to have your tweets posted on our live social media wall. So get posting. Our next speaker, Hans Thaubauer, SVP of Digital Supply Chain at SAP, will give us some insights on how SAP Leonardo is intelligently connecting people things, and businesses, and how it helps organizations realize the promise of these technologies without interrupting their business today. Let's all welcome Hans to the stage. Round of applause, please.
Thank you very much. Is this on? Can you? Yeah, it is on. Okay. Thank you very much. It is amazing when you listen to these presentations and the whole morning about innovation, the innovation in terms of machine learning, in terms of connecting the things, in terms of using this information in the context of business. And this is exactly what I'm going to do now, is really to explain to you what this innovation is doing in the context of supply chain, in the context of manufacturing. Supply chain manufacturing, typically business processes which are very much related to words like productivity, to cost, to efficiency and effectiveness. But if you think about it, what's going on nowadays in the world, it is actually now that supply chain is helping companies to transform their businesses. So it's a completely new way of thinking about supply chain. It's a completely new way of using these business processes, partly very traditional business processes, in a very, very new and innovative way. And so I'm going to explain that a little bit. Then I will have also a partner and customer from SAP on stage with Ellen Williams from UPS. And then I will actually finish the presentation and really transforming this into what kind of solution SAP is providing there. But let's start with looking into this topic of supply chain, looking into this aspect of why supply chain all of a sudden actually becomes such a strategic topics for all these companies around the world and in all the different industries. And there are several examples which I want to present to you so that you can really understand what these companies are doing. So if you look at the industry like a consumer products industry, consumer products industries and companies in consumer product industries transform their businesses all around the world from a traditional wholesale retail model into a direct-to-consumer model. So, if you will, in another word, that the consumer products companies become online retail companies, right? Of course, not from one day to the next day, but actually you see that going on around the world, that every consumer products company follows pretty much the same strategy and really wanting to get closer to the end consumer, right? Wanting to understand what are the end consumers doing with my product, how do they like the product, how do they consume my product. And this information is very, very important. With that, actually get the closeness, get actually the aspect of customer satisfaction in the foreground, having this customer centricity topic actually as the highest priority. So a huge change in terms of how you run your supply chain. All of a sudden, it's not only the point of sales data which are interesting for you. It's not only the demand streams, the traditional demand streams from my retail store, from my wholesale industry, actually, which is driving my replenishment and response and manufacturing processes. All of a sudden, I need to go to the end consumer. I need to understand what is the end consumer impacting and how can I actually drive demand from the end consumer. You can also easily imagine if you need to deliver these products, you also need to change your logistics processes, right, to an end consumer. You're not having the full truckload sending to an end consumer. You have actually the vans, small vans actually driving around and delivering the products. So on both ends of the supply chain, on the demand and on the delivery processes, we need to really introduce completely new ways in order to support this new business model for the consumer products. If you look at the online retailers, what are they doing? So the Amazons, Alibabas of this world, more and more they differentiate with their logistics processes, right? So I live in San Francisco, Amazon actually delivers within 1 hour, right? So you order something online, 1 hour later you get the product delivered. Alibaba in China, when you look at Shanghai or Beijing, they have introduced a very sophisticated process where they say we have vans driving around in the city, and if I order something online, the van which is closest to me will deliver. And they have actually reduced the delivery time to about 30 minutes in average, right? So it's all about speed, how fast they can deliver the products to you. You order something, and then you have these processes of delivery. very, very different than just a couple of years ago, very different than you would have thought about in a couple of years ago. So the online retailers really becoming more and more logistics service providers. Amazon actually has its own airport in the US. They have about 100 planes. They have ships around the world, right? So it's a very, very different way of thinking. They differentiate with logistics. They become more and more like a logistics service provider. Then if you look at the logistics service providers, what happens to them? They actually start to manufacture, right? Why is that? Because many of them introduce 3D printing as really a method of taking on manufacturing services for their customers. So they need to learn what manufacturing means. They need to actually start to do manufacturing processes, looking at quality management processes, doing the replenishment processes, and so on. So this manufacturing process becomes part for the logistics company. Why is that? Because just think about what if you can digitize inventory. So you don't have physical inventory anymore, you have digitized inventory. You print the product when needed and ship it around the world within 1 day. Just think about this kind of concept in the service parts management processes, right? So you need a service part. What if you don't need to hold it somewhere in the warehouse, but what if you can actually just digitize this service part and then connect it with the logistics processes and then deliver it? So I think actually highly innovative, and we'll see that more and more. But the interesting thing is the logistics service industry is changing and becomes more and more also a manufacturer. And the manufacturers, what happens to them? They become more and more service providers. Right? So manufacturers sell solutions and not only products anymore. Just think about the automotive industry and the typical OEM in automotive selling more and more mobility as a service and not necessarily only the car. You have the same examples when you go to the machinery and construction industry. Machines are not being sold as machines anymore. It's actually the output of the machine which is being sold. Right? It's very different models. But if you look at all these models, the one thing all of them have in common is that supply chain and manufacturing business processes are helping these companies to go through this transition, to really transform their companies and making all these changes in the business models. But this is also only possible because of technology. It's only possible because we now tie in the information from the things and bring this information into the context of the business processes. So before I go on this theoretical discussion, I would like to welcome Ellen Williams on stage from UPS, and Ellen is the Vice President for the Expo sponsorship and operations, and he will now talk a little bit about UPS and also his work at Expo. Ellen?
Thank you very much, Hans, and good morning. As Hans said, my name is Alan Williams, and I'm the Vice President of Expo 2020 Sponsorship and Operations for UPS. UPS was named as Expo's official logistics partner in March 2017, and for us, Expo is an incredible opportunity for UPS to show the world really a glimpse of what the logistics of the future could look like. And I'll return to that theme a little bit later in my speech. So, imagine a world where the trucks are autonomous, where the volume is containerized, smart packages, and smart labels. Imagine embedded sensors in a smart facility where robotic arms are loading and sorting these containers, along with autonomous yard shifting of vehicles. Where packages get to the delivery depot, robotic arms will unload these packages and sort them into predetermined positions in the back of the delivery vehicle. With a robotic solution in the back of the car, the drivers will no longer need to search for packages. Think total end-to-end integration within the hub and en route. This is where the world is heading, which means it's not a question of whether we disrupt ourselves, but how we embrace technology. Today, about 13% of a driver's time is spent in retrieving packages in the back of his vehicle. Through the use of RFID, laser, or even audio assistance, we believe this can reduce that time and make the driver more efficient. We're quietly involved in trials using drones launched from the actual vehicle, from the roofs of buildings. This is the type of technology that we're talking about. It's important to remember that UPS is a network. Every part of the network impacts the next part. Parts need to be aligned so operations work as planned. If we don't get that calibration correct, with the smart logistics network, the people who suffer ultimately are our customers. UPS is a technology company. Our smart logistics network reinforces that notion. We, as leaders, have the responsibility to learn, innovate, transform, and with divine discontentment, continue to create the future. Smart means going from intelligent to intuitive. UPS has been in business for 110 years. If we want to remain in business for the next 110 years, we must embrace a mindset of exponential versus linear growth. New companies are changing exponentially, taking advantage of exponential technologies and applying new and very different business models. In the end, the new companies grow and build momentum and see abundance, while the incumbents are left with confusion, loss, and no business. That is the deception of linear growth versus exponential growth. There are always disruptors, challengers, new startups who are emerging. With today's technologies, these companies drive their solutions to new levels. Some companies handle this challenge better than others. Some are disrupted, while others disrupt. Let's talk about disruption. Disruption is bad if somebody does it to you. It can be a very good thing if you do it to yourself. At the start, disruption can be barely detectable, or it can be bold and brash. Technology is evolving so rapidly, we need exponential thinking. So I'd like to share with you the 6 principles which we at UPS teach our leadership. First, the 6 Ds of disruption. Everything is getting digitized. Change around us is so much faster than we realize that it's deceptive. Technology is disruptive, changing the way we live and do business. Technology is also democratic. It's available to everybody. The cost of technology is decreasing so fast, industries are being demonetized. Big things are getting smaller every day, becoming dematerialized in the process. Secondly, it's understanding the exponential mindset. Exponential leaders see the world as an opportunity. They don't see the world as being limited. They don't think that they have already accomplished everything. As an example, there are metrics available today comparing statistics from 100 years ago to today, which illustrate this point. Global literacy from 32 to 85% improvement. Life expectancy from 51 years to 81 years old. This is a result of exponential leaders who never accepted the status quo. We have incredible opportunities in this world, in our cities, in our businesses, in our technologies, and in our skills and competencies. Third, exponential leaders always want to learn more. Think artificial intelligence, machine learning, the Internet of Things, 3D printing, digital manufacturing, robotics, drones, virtual and augmented reality. All these things can make us more productive and change our business model. But we have found that they all work best when coupled with human ingenuity. This is knowledge that is available to all of us. It allows us to think about the possibilities, the options, and the future. Fourth, exponential thinkers find ways to outsource nearly everything they need to grow. That's ideas, capital, designs, software, people, and everything else that it takes to run a business. These thinkers approach problems from a humble perspective, knowing that they don't know everything, but they rely on experts to help in other fields to grow their business. And fifth, exponential leaders don't wait. They take action. Discussions and debates are good, but we must keep our focus on satisfying our customers' needs. Expectations are never static. This means getting solutions underway, not waiting and waiting. We need to encourage rapid iteration and accept the fact that sometimes we're going to fail. The learnings from failures are key to exponential thinking. This then forms the foundation of a smart logistics network. Finally, exponential leaders have a transformative purpose and are always striving for their blue sky ideas. All of us have a responsibility to transform. So ask yourself some simple questions. What is your blue sky? How do we get to a place where others cannot disrupt us? A place where we disrupt everybody around us? How are you innovating? How are we going to think differently? How are you leading in a new way? If you had to write down your team's blue sky idea, what would it say? In a recent survey of manufacturing and supply chain leaders, 80% agreed the digital supply chain will be the predominant model within the next 5 years. 16% said it already is, and I imagine most of you in this room are part of that 16%. This brings me to our opportunity with Expo 2020. UPS sees Expo 2020 as a platform to showcase a collaborative approach with other partners to demonstrate what is possible with a digitized supply chain. First and foremost, we have to deliver the event itself using tried and tested processes and technology. Secondly, we can use the event to showcase the future. The opportunity therefore becomes turning today's blue sky ideas into today's integrated supply chains. Tried and tested allows us to provide the required service levels, the consistency that an event like Expo 2020 requires. Testing new concepts event time creates unacceptable risk. Therefore, momentum is key to moving these concepts from blue sky to today. I believe this can only be done through collaboration across partners and bringing in joint expertise and knowledge to the benefit of the event. I'd like to focus on one such example that we've identified with SAP, and that involves additive manufacturing, or 3D printing. It's an area where UPS already partners with SAP to expedite the manufacturing and delivery of 3D printed parts. Event logistics involves bringing inventory from suppliers around the globe to the event, warehousing it until it's required on site, transporting the inventory to the venue from the warehouse, and then placing it in a correct space within the venue. Post-event, the process is reversed with reverse logistics. As an example, we provided the logistics for London 2012. We moved 32 million pieces of inventory through our temporary Olympic supply chain. If you can imagine a venue turned upside down, everything that falls out of that venue, apart from the people and the horses, tends to be put there by logistics. Huge amounts of planning are required to get each piece to the right place at the right time. So how could 3D printing impact that? To move inventory through a global supply chain can take time and cost. Does 3D printing provide the opportunity to start creating virtual inventory versus physical inventory for an event such as Expo 2020? That's never been done before. Imagine a positive impact on cost efficiencies, but also reducing our CO2 emissions. Just in time would become print on time. UPS runs 3D factories in the US, Asia, and Europe, connecting them to our customers through our global networks and working with SAP on integrated supply chain solutions. Printing just a percentage of the inventory required for Expo to order could be a first for an event the scale of Expo 2020. The challenge, however, is to integrate the many parts that exist today into a single integrated solution, a solution that we can then demonstrate to the organizers as being a tried and tested day-to-day solution versus a blue sky idea. This could be a powerful demonstration of the future of logistics. Many others exist that we'll be exploring over the coming months. The organizers of Expo 2020 Dubai state that it will be a festival of human ingenuity and will be at the center of something extraordinary. I believe that this provides us the ideal framework to turn blue sky into day-to-day and to enable exponential growth. I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I'd like to hand back to Hans.
Alan, thank you very much. I think just listening to that, what you hear is that there's so much innovation, there's so much new processes going on, new excitement going on. And now how do we need to take this and actually transform the supply chain? What are the characteristics of a supply chain of the future? And there are 4 elements actually of it. The first one is really about customer centricity. I think this is not new, right? So we need to really work very close with our customers. But what's really new behind that is We really need to introduce automated processes. Companies are talking about a touchless supply chain. So we use here actually machine learning in order to make the planning system intelligent, in order to automate the supply chain processes right from the beginning, from the demand signal to the delivery. The second aspect, a supply chain needs to become predictive, not reactive, right? At the moment, we are running supply chain alert-driven, reactive. But we need to use this information from the machines, from the things actually, in order to turn this around and start actually to predict the business, predict maintenance, predict quality, predict logistics, right? So this is actually where we need to really change the way how we think about the delivery, the manufacturing processes. The third aspect is we need to leverage the automation. Automation in manufacturing, automation in warehouse management processes. We need to leverage that and orchestrate that in a way so that we can personalize the products. We just heard from the Expo presentation before. It's all about a personalized experience. The 25 million people, every single one wants to be have a personalized experience. The same is true for every single supply chain. We need to think about a customer of one, a segment of one, which we need to achieve here. And we can only do that by really introducing these smart automation processes. And of course, we need to have a total visibility. And total visibility means we need to have a digital twin of the real world in the system, right? We need to have a digital twin of the asset, digital twin of the product, a digital twin of the logistics chain, and really incorporate that into the supply chain. So at the end, actually, it looks like this, where we have we have a system which allows us to really maintain the master data, where we have a system of record. So we need to have an ERP environment in place with SAP S/4HANA. We need to have an environment which allows us to differentiate, right? So where we run our supply chain, where we determine how the rules of supply chain actually work for the company. This is the integrated business planning process. We need to engage with the business partners, right? This is the SAP Ariba environment, where we connect to the suppliers, we connect to the customers. So these three environments, the records, the differentiation, and also the engagement model, were already existing. But now we add the real world into this environment, and this is actually supported by SAP Leonardo, and this is where the power from Leonardo really comes in, where we build this Industry 4.0 applications in order to have the digital mirror of the real world, right? So these four elements allow you to really run supply chains differently, allow you to transform the businesses like I highlighted at the beginning, and allow you to be and have the speed in order to have smart logistics and these type of processes and the technology like 3D printing and drones realized. So thank you very much for your attention. And yeah, that's the supply chain part. Thank you.
Let's see. Check.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's all have a massive round of applause, please, for Hans and UPS. So last but not least, we have Sharif Mahabi, who will be leaving us with a few words on our aspiring SAP Training and Innovation Institute. Let's have a round of applause, please, for him. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, you better Uber yourself before you get Kodaked. I'll say that again. You better Uber yourself before you get Kodaked. I'm glad some people are taking some pictures. So most of the time, the first impression is some kind of laughter. It's like, oh, this is a funny quote. And then it kind of sinks in, right? And then there's concern. It's like, oh, okay. Most of us seem to be aware of companies, organizations that have this magical ability to turn value into innovation or innovation into value, yeah? So Uber, example. But also, we are aware of other companies that have this tragic story of Kodak. So in January of 2012, Kodak, which was one of these giant brands from the 80s. We all remember the Kodak moment, those real disposable cameras, and they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, right? And it's quite a tragic story because at the height of their success, they controlled around 80% of the photographic film market, yeah, in the States, and about 50% globally. And then, what happened? They also employed more than 60,000 employees in a city called Rochester. And unfortunately, the tragedy is, when they went bankrupt, they had to let go most of those people. So imagine you are Mr. Stephen J. Sasson. Does anybody know this wonderful gentleman? It's 1975. He's a Kodak engineer. He comes up and presents this prototype. It's as big as a toaster. And it is digital imaging technology. So the irony is that Kodak invented the technology that killed it. And here's what happened. He brings up this prototype, and the engineers love it. The engineers are like, wow, this is absolutely awesome. Leadership, what do they say? Yeah, they say, that's cute. That's really cute. Just don't show it to anyone. Why? Well, the crux of the matter is they were afraid, right? So they were afraid to innovate their business model because their business model was based on photographic film. So if this is a new technology that eats away at their business model, they're not going to do it. They're just going to, you know, they call it resting on your laurels, yes? The second thing is they were afraid of what's known as cannibalization, right? So that's what happened, and as they say, the rest is history. So it's ironic that they actually are the ones who actually invented the technology that ended up destroying their business model, and they didn't have the courage, they didn't have the vision, they didn't have the, I guess, the disruption mindset to innovate and move forward with it. So, technology, I mean, I'm really, really amazed, and I'm very, very grateful and blessed to be here today, and like some of these things that I'm seeing is just absolutely incredible. But do you notice that in every single presentation, coupled with technology, was this idea of a proven methodology, a mindset, a culture, working with people, right? So technology is not just enough. It's very, very important to have that competitive edge and to continue to innovate, but it's also important to couple it with these proven methodologies, right? So how do we mitigate this risk of being disrupted, maybe by ourselves, by others? How do we change the internal mindset of our people? How do we upskill? How do we create that collaboration? How do we create that innovative mindset within our own cultures, within our own organizations? So the answer to that is through these proven tools, frameworks, methodologies, such as design thinking, which has been mentioned today, such as business model innovation, business model generation. And these toolkits and these frameworks create that coupled, if you will, initiative to allow these technologies to flourish and blossom. So it's been proven, actually, that companies obviously like SAP, like Coca-Cola, like Apple, like Procter & Gamble, these companies who utilize these methodologies and frameworks like design thinking, business model innovation, and so on, have outperformed companies in the S&P 500 by over 200%. So we're here as Winnovate, powered by SAP. We're very, very eager and excited to be running a design thinking, innovation, and action workshop. We're starting it at 3, but obviously the whole day is shifted a bit, so we're going to go for around 3:30. Give you time to have your lunch. And if you're interested to attend the workshop, please register at our booth. And also, if you're interested to learn more about these frameworks, these tools, these methodologies that can assist you and support you and contribute to your success, help you shifting that internal mindset, learning how to innovate, getting the confidence to innovate, also communicate with us and interact with us at our booth, and we'll be happy to support you. So thank you for your attention and wish you all the success. Thank you, Tom. You've got to teach me that trick, man.
Can we have a massive round of applause, please, for Sharif? What a fantastic way to end this keynote today. That was really fantastic. The irony of the Kodak experience. Wow. So our keynote is coming to an end. It's been a very intensive and insightful session. Lots of great lessons to be learned, but the day is not over. There are over 8 different tracks starting at 11. We're going to push that back, so around about 11:30, and ending at 2:30, followed by lunch. I think we're going to have a little bit of a pushback there. So the customer experience track will continue in this room. The rest of the sessions will be upstairs. So if you follow the instructions to register, you know where to go now. If not, just ask one of the team, and we can direct you to the right place. It was lovely being with you here this morning. Make sure you get onto Twitter and tweet hashtag SAP Innovation. I've been Tom London. It's been a real pleasure. Have a fantastic day, and see you all soon. Thank you.